Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tide55 show. And let's just have a moment to appreciate the fact that we are in our new office. Obviously, Darren's at home for the time being, but we have a little space reserved for you just over there, mate. But it's great to finally be in here. And this is the background to get used to. So if you are here for the first time, make sure that providing you enjoy what you hear, you subscribe to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about promotional video for businesses. And what's it all about? Why is it so important? And what can it actually do for a company this day and age? So, Kendall, let's get stuck in.
So today we are going to focus massively on, obviously we're in our new office and there's lots going on. And one thing that has been big for us, and in terms of professional and also just here, is video. It's something that we do a lot for us, for our clients. We all love it. We have lots of people that are very big on video, and so we're going to focus on that because it is a big thing on social media at the moment. It's what everyone should be doing, but maybe doesn't want to be doing. So I want to start with Tommy, and I want you to, because obviously we all know why you document everything that we do, but I want you to say why you do that on video, why you've documented this whole thing, and what benefit you think that has or could have for another business to kind of take lead from.
Well, first of all, I think I've got 3 points that I can share. One is there's nothing more realistic than opening the door and letting people into what's going on in the here and now. And the technology at our disposal, we can actually do that through videos on social media in this day and age. So it brings a level of transparency, of authenticity. It allows relationship building to happen. And I've always done this in the last 10 years, been a very part of everything that I've done. So it's just a good habit to have. The second is when you look back and you can go, well, look at where it was before, look at where it started, look at where it began. Also, not only yourself, but other people can do that as well. Clients can go and look at how long we've been doing this one day and what was going on in the conceptual stages, in the early stages. That's very important. And then the third part is that I think it holds myself, also everybody here, accountable. There's an element of being able to step up and be a part of the story. Even doing this video now is maybe something that you guys might not choose to do if you have the choice of, what should I do today on a Thursday? But it's part of the job. And that's because it holds us accountable, not just to our own company's message, but to our clients by setting an example, by being role models and essentially practicing what we preach. I think that's very, very important, especially right now.
Yeah, and hearing you say that, it's actually quite cool because as well, if you were a business owner, it would be quite nice to watch because you can resonate with it and see the process and kind of see how far it's come, and that obviously you've been documenting this ever since you started. So I do think it's really cool, and it's quite inspiring, I think, to watch and think, okay, it doesn't just happen. Because like you've said before about people feeling doesn't like to be on camera, even I would say you just have always liked it, right? But obviously I know now that no, it took time, and it does take time. So that is quite cool. But then looking at it on a different side, so Darren, you do come from a bit more of a what would be the right word to use? Commercial, corporate, that's the one. Yeah. So you come from a bit more of a corporate background. So what would be your view on video in more of a corporate sense?
Well, I think, as Tommy quite rightly says, video is very, very important because you can get across the message. You can talk in a certain tone of voice. If your company has a tone of voice that they use for their language, their core values, their business values, people will speak in those values, in that tone of voice, to get their message across about their business. So I think video is absolutely crucial for that. You can do that written, but it's not quite the same as doing it as an audio piece. I think the problem with video, or people have a fear of video, is that it's expensive. But with the technology as it is, with smartphones and different devices, it's not as expensive as it used to be, for sure. But really, realistically, you should be going to professionals like at Tide55 to produce your video content.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think would be something that people would be put off by. So then, Matt, in that sense, what would be your top 3 tips? Say someone has a business and they do want to do video content, but they just don't know where to start. they don't want to spend loads of money on it at first because they just kind of want to get into it, what would be your top 3 tips to get started with video content?
Have you seen the scheduled post for the Tide Instagram? That's really weird you say that. Literally yesterday, I done the top 3 tips of if you're filming the video yourself, of how some of our clients do. I done the top 3 tips as to, you know, what's going to leave you with the best result. I think, to be honest with you, it's quite simple. As long as your video has good lighting, if you're filming it yourself, you need to be articulate as well with what you're talking about. I think it's important that the video comes across interesting, because as we spoke about earlier, if you watching it yourself, if you don't like that, then why is someone else going to like that? So it has to be, you know, it has to be valuable. You need to articulate what you're talking about. A bit of characterism in there as well, you know, really sort of just be you, but also a bit of a character as well. And also I took a little bit of inspiration from what Matthew McConaughey said in the Ryan Hartley podcast, was just want to be there. You know, for example, right now, imagine if one of us was giving off the body language of, you asked me that question, oh, well, my top 3 tips might be this. Now you want to be there, you know, be interested about it. You know, I think it's just something like that, because straight away, you know, a video is almost like the new in-person type of thing. If you're somewhere and you feel like someone doesn't want to be there and they give off that vibe and they give that negative energy, then you can feel that through video as well. So I think it's important. That would sort of be the top 3 tips. Good lighting, so the video looks as professional as it can be for what you're trying to do. Be articulate, and also want to be there.
Cool. All right, I like that. That's weird. Maybe I did subconsciously see that. I don't know. I don't think I did.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm on mute. I don't know.
Okay, so now I imagine that you have a business owner in front of you that wants to do video, is a bit nervous about being on camera, thinks it's expensive, isn't going to spend loads of money on it. What would you say is one thing, like, do a video now, and they say, what do I do a video on? What do you say, Tommy, go?
Video killed the radio star. And it's just, you know, like we said before, history repeats itself. Media changes, people's attention evolves. This isn't about opinion. It's about people voting with their feet and thumbs. And it's just, it's like almost like speaking a different language, a language that's dying if you're not producing video, because you're not going to be frequent, current, relevant. It's just not going to happen.
I've listened to this. I get it. Yes, I need to do it. I know the tips. I'm ready. What do I video?
I hear it, and I can still sense the reservation that you are bringing forward of what people might have of doing this thing, getting the camera out. You don't even need to be in the video. It just needs to be video media. You know, we create video assets for our clients that don't involve their faces. We do it with their voice. We bring animations and we bring text into the equation. But also we can do it through presentations. You can do it through them not even being involved whatsoever. So it's not about necessarily having to be the film star, you know, be in the video yourself. It's just the video form of media is very, very important. And I'm sure Darren will have something to add to that, because Darren's the guy in our team who's very much involved and in charge of bringing up the concept of how we're going to sell something. You know, that's what marketing is for at the end of the day. And then taking that back to the team, speaking to Matt, speaking to you, speaking to myself, speaking to everybody about what it is we need to build. So I'm sure Darren would have something to add to that, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. So as Tommy quite rightly says, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be about you as the person. You've got to have a good concept. If you're talking about your company, you could be showing off the product. You could be talking about the company and their services. So it could be a fly on the wall documentary, behind the scenes. As long as it's scripted well, like Matt says, it's scripted well, it's well lit, and it's considered, not too long, but the right messages in the right place, then the video content will be certainly worthwhile having and putting on your media posts.
So Matt, then let's follow on from that and add on, what is too long? And obviously this is just opinionated because everyone thinks different things, but if you're starting out in video, how long would you say, what's a good idea? Second, 10 seconds, 10 minutes?
I think, to be honest with you, it all depends on what you identify as, I want to do that video. Okay, you want to do a product video, 30 seconds max. You want to do a sit down You're talking about your business in sort of that documentary style with a bit of B-roll on the screen of showing maybe things that how they're operating in the business that you're talking about at that time. 2 to 5 minutes, but 5 minutes being the absolute max. If you want to do a fly on the wall documentary, as Darren says, again, max maybe about 5 minutes, because you want to deliver your message in a quick way. People aren't currently invested in you to watch your content, to watch a 10-minute video. If you're scrolling through social media, let's say in a business that you've maybe been interested in a form of their service or products before, if a 10-minute video pops up, you're not watching 10 minutes. There needs to be a quick 30-second, as Tommy says, it doesn't even need to involve their face, just something that grabs the attention. And then in there, if you're interested in creating maybe a longer style video that is showing off everything about you and, you know, about the business, then in that 30 seconds, it's grabbed someone's attention. You could then feed that traffic into the longer video.
It's a very good point that Matt makes there. It's people always haven't got time, so it is grabbing their attention really quick. Now, sometimes you can shock people into things. Sometimes it's humour. But if you are talking about a company, you know, you hear these elevator pitches. You should be able to sell your services in the time you get into the first floor, ground floor of an elevator up to maybe the 5th, 6th floor. 30, 40 seconds, you should be able to sell your service or your product in that time. And realistically, that should be almost the maximum. Otherwise, you're going over the top. You call it an elevator pitch. By the time you get to that 4th floor, 5th floor, that person goes out the lift and they know exactly what products you're selling, what services, or what you're providing or going to produce.
And I do believe it's worth actually bringing attention for someone who maybe doesn't know much about video or who we are and what we do, is that what we have is very different, very, very different to any other agency or any other professional service that involves video, is the talent that we bring to the video recording process. Not only do we have the videographer with the equipment, we have the ability to capture the story, which is the most important thing. But my background, you know, I used to go on stage in front of thousands of people and jump up and down teaching aerobics classes. I've had extensive presenter training to be able to help bring the point across on camera, to be able to translate the energy and the passion into words and actions using literally language and non-verbal communication to be able to get the point across. And when that's captured on a video forever, you know, the guys, they do the rest. We edit the video, we get it out there. But my personal input is I'm able to stand there with the business owner and say, okay, cool. Right, so you want to promote this and sell this, and these are the things that are most important to you. Great, here's what you need to say. And I will literally repeat the words back to them so that they have to just stand there and say the 5 or 6 words in the way that I say it. Hey, just move your hand like that when you say that word. Hey, just lift your chest a bit when you say that. Hey, just raise your voice a little bit. Let's do that a few more times and see what comes out. All at the same time, we've got our video team making very organized chapter markers in their head of what's been said, how it's been said, what take we're going to use. I look at the video guys, I look at Matt, I look at Nathan, and I go, that's the one. They make a note of it. All at the same time, the person in the video is not under any pressure. I'm not saying, well, we need to do that again because it wasn't quite good enough. Or, you know, someone who's never done video before, that's their worst nightmare. So we make it very relaxed, very easy, and very much centered towards the objective. The videos that we produce, we know how important they are. So we want to make sure that process is as positive and impactful as possible. You won't get that with anybody else or anywhere else.
I think it all links into going back to the point I previously made of wanting to be there. You know, I think it also goes in and ties in nicely with that, you know, how someone's body language is on camera will determine how good the video looks. You know, we can go there, we can film it, but without the input from you of say it like this, be like this, that is what makes the video, you know, a lot better, to put it straight. And I think I'm really looking forward to getting out there for our next shoot after sort of the restrictions ease. I know there's a couple that are on the cards right now, and I'm really looking forward to just getting out there and, you know, having a fresh piece of content that, you know, we've all produced with this. You know, the team has changed a lot recently, and, you know, we've seen so many times right now that we are in a extremely strong position, and even earlier when we said if a certain project came along right now, it'd be a walk in the park. And I think it's that confidence that stems through the team right now, the talent, everything that's at our disposal right now. It's a positive, and I fully agree with that.
It gets said all the time, people buy from people. And that's very true. I mean, I'm sure you guys will agree. I'm sure you'll agree watching this. Think about the last few things that you've bought where there's been a decision, a decision beyond a quick snap purchase. You want to know who you're buying from. You want to know who it is you're working with. You want to know that you can trust them, that you like them, that you trend alongside them. And that's why video is essential, because getting yourself out there, or at least your company brand and message, allows people to have that choice to buy from you, and people buy from people. So sharing the story, sharing what's important, sharing your values, sharing the products, showcasing them, using promotional footage, using repurposed footage, using behind the scenes stuff, doing Instagram stories, all of the tools that are out there right now, through here and through agencies like us. It just allows that process to happen. The people buying from people part of that process. It'll increase your chances, it'll increase your revenue. And what will happen is actually somewhere in the future, you'll turn around and say, I wish we did this earlier. Thanks for watching and being involved in this conversation that's been all about video, particular promotional video for your company, and how that video could really help you to amplify your brand, increase your reputation on the internet, and ultimately drive more revenue. So if you've liked what you've seen, do make sure you stick around by subscribing to the channel. And if you hit that little notification bell, what will happen is every time we release a video, which is usually 2 or 3 times a week, YouTube will tell you. And that way you'll be able to jump in with the conversation with us every single week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.